Welcome to another video right here on FE Builds. I have the Redcat Ascent Fusion in front of me. You may not recognize it because I've made a few changes. When I purchased this car, I had high hopes about it, and I'm not writing it off. I think it's good for what they've designed it for. But with the portal axles, we had a major issue. And with the stock setup, what I found is it would always end up on its lid. And as a result of that, the body got damaged quite extensively, so we had to do a new body. So that's a Warlord body, just the cab alone, and you'll see it nicely in the videos. So I had to make a new body. But I've made some changes on the car, and this has improved it substantially. What you're going to see in the videos to follow are basically things that were impossible to do with this car without flipping over when I had it initially. So what have I done? Let me work from the front going all the way back. The first thing we can notice over here is I've switched it from servo mounted on chassis to servo on axle, and I think that's really good. No more bumps here. So that's one thing we've done. I used a cheap servo unfortunately, and in the videos you'll see that it was struggling from time to time to actually turn in areas where it needs to, and that's because this motor, this servo, even though it's rated for 20 kilograms, it doesn't push out enough. Another thing that you'll notice is we've switched the axles to straight axles, so no more portal axles. These are just straight axles, and we've got the standard size crawler wheels. Another thing I did was I switched it to 4-link. From 3-link with a pan-out bar, I switched it to 4-link, and that's helped with articulation and its capability. But because of that, we had to make a modification and lose a bit of the low center of gravity build that we're trying to get to, and I'm going to show you even as we go along. And the reason why we did that is because if you look over here on the original carbon fiber motor mount that connects the motor pinion to the spur gear, it sits all the way to the side. So if that's on the bottom position, keeping the motor and the weight all the way down to the ground, you can't do 4-link. There's just no space for that unless you put the links on the outside of the chassis, which in turn limits the travel, it limits the flex of the vehicle, and it creates a few problems. Apart from that, we were having some issues with the motor coming very close to the chassis. So what I did was I flipped this motor mount over, and as you can see, it's sitting up. But if you look over here, it's not above the shocks, so it's in line with the shocks. It's a bit of a compromise that we had to make, and we lost a bit of our LCG feel. However, even with this configuration, it performed really well. As you'll see in one of the climbs, it literally climbs vertically up. We kept the shocks the same. However, I'm going to be changing the shocks to these beautiful 2-stage Endura performance shocks, 90 millimeters. And the reason is these shocks, the original shocks, are sticking. When it sits for a while, it just sticks, it gets stuck there. So that was affecting performance. As you can see over there, when the motor is mounted on top, it also gives a bit more clearance between the motor and this prop shaft that goes from the gearbox to the transfer case. And what we did on top is we have high clearance links, which I don't think was necessary, but it's the only option I had. I never had shorter straight links. And on the bottom we put straight links so that we could keep the axle straight. Otherwise we would have an issue where the axle bends outwards, and it doesn't turn nicely when it does that. So those are the mods at the front. I'm just trying to think if I did anything else over here. No. Okay, so let's move to the back. At the back, you'll see we changed the prop shaft. We also changed the prop shaft in the front to these Muse Racing prop shafts, and we also put high clearance links. As you can see at the back, it's also got a straight axle, so we've left the portal axles behind completely. I'll use those on another rig, but with these changes that we've done so far, it's improved the performance substantially. So one thing I'm going to do now as I end this section of this video is install new shocks. But for part 1, you'll see the running footage with these shocks and how it performed, and part 2 you'll see the running footage with the mods that we do to make this have a bit more flex, because you would see that it was bellying out a lot, and if we had that just tad bit more flex where the tires could just touch down in certain areas, it would have been much easier to get over obstacles without having to punch it the whole time, especially when you're climbing a vertical obstacle or near vertical and you have to go over the edge point of that. It helps if one tire can at least touch the ground so you can make contact and it can pull the car through. But apart from that, these are the mods that we have. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the running footage. And take note, the running footage is not in any consecutive order, and there wasn't any real effort to try and get that to run really well. I just drove it like I drive a normal RC car on difficult rocks and at difficult angles, and these are the results you see. And I'll do the same. I won't try and drive it in a very special way, but I'll try and keep it consistent so that even in part 2 we see the improvements as we go along, the improvements or the downgrade and improvement as we do different mods and we see what works best. So this is the Redcat, and this is what we've done to it. Enjoy the running footage.